Hey, good morning, guys. It's Donald and Mary, and we're here to bring you your morning weather, water, and trail chatter report. And so this morning, Mary's going to start with the water and weather, and after we have some trail chatter. All right, Mary, go ahead and take it away, man.
Thank you, Donald.
You're welcome.
Good morning, everyone. Right now in Blairsville, it is 67 degrees and it is raining. We're looking at a high of 77 today with showers and thunderstorms. Gusty winds and small hail is possible. 5 to 10 mile per hour winds and a 70% chance of rain. Tonight, we're looking at 59, cloudy with a stray shower or thunderstorm. Winds are light and variable. Up on Blood today, it's a high of 72, falling to 65 later on in the afternoon. Showers and thunderstorms are likely, and there is a 70% chance of rain. 59 tonight with a chance of showers and thunderstorms before 8 p.m., and then mostly cloudy. 5 mile per hour winds and a 70% chance of rain. The rain keeps the water good out here, so for the most part, water is good. Just remember to top off at Hawk Mountain Shelter, Slaughter Creek, and Neal Gap. Neal Gap to Hog Pen is dry. Hog Pen does have water. And let's remember to be cautious of the snakes. It's that time of year, they're out. And then remember the Copperhead Nest up on Cow Rock, which is 5 miles north of Neal Gap, and there's rattlesnakes too. The road repairs continue in Tennessee for the Newfound Gap. The Sugarlands to Newfound is going to reopen either on or before September 30th, and then you're open fully on the North Carolina side, Cherokee to Newfound Gap. The ongoing bear closures and warnings in the Great Smoky Mountains. All shelters and trails are open. Campsites that are closed 18, 23, 57, and 96. Warnings are Trillium Gap and Ramsey Cascades Trails, and Russell Field Shelter and Campsite 113. Let's remember to always leave no trace no matter where we are recreating. That way it continues to be a good, safe home for the animals and safe for those of us that are outside. Remember proper food storage and proper waste disposal also. All right, now I'm turning it over to Donald and he can talk about some other stuff we have going on.
All right, guys. Good morning. Give me 1 second here. All right, and so it is 6:24 a.m. on 9/6/2025, and so this morning we have an Arizona rescue at Camelback Mountain again, guys. So in Phoenix, an overheated hiker was rescued from Camelback Mountain Friday morning, according to authorities. The Phoenix Fire Department said crews were called out to Echo Canyon Trailhead at 10:15 a.m., and there's a 8 to 5 no hike zone there. So 10:15 a.m. to help the woman. Crews found the woman 3/4 of the way up the trail. The woman told firefighters she felt dizzy and couldn't make her way back down the trail. The fire department decided to airlift the woman off the mountain using the Phoenix Police Department helicopter Firebird 10. The woman refused to be transported to the hospital once she was down the trail.
That's what I have.
Now, this is happening a lot, and we've done we've talked about on other videos about states fining people that are being careless, and this is definitely one of those. This is an example right here, man, and every day we read about it, man, and people are, there's literally a warning not to go up there between 8 and 5 p.m., 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. because of how hot it is. And so, should people be fined for this? All right, and so long-term trailhead parking preparation. Oh, I apologize.
And that's what I have for today. I'm working on it.
Oh, okay.
So we can talk about that soon.
All right, and so I apologize for that. That is we're working on doing that long-term parking piece for
Preparing our vehicles to stay out long-term so that when we return, we're not having nests and flat tires and, different damage to the vehicle from being out in the elements for so long.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
All right, and so give me 1 second here, guys. I wanted to read this article. I'm not able to find it. I'm gonna read this one though because it's similar. And so the enchantments face dire conditions amid staffing shortage. So Kolchak Lake, Chelan County, can a lone ranger patrol 900 miles of trails in the Okanogan Wenatchee National Forest by herself in the federal wilderness of Washington's Cascades? The answer this summer is a resounding no. But right now, that's the reality. And so, in the Enchantment Forest in Washington State, there used to be, I believe, like 12 to 15 rangers or something assisting with keeping this place clean. This trailhead plus the trail in the forest, yada yada yada. Anyways, there's one person taking care of it right now because of all these spending cuts, and it's being trashed by people. Like there's tons of human feces up there. There's graffiti going on. There's just trash everywhere. And the one worker is overwhelmed, and so the enchantments are a wildly popular hike, backpacking and climbing. The enchantments are a wildly popular hiking, backpacking, and climbing destination in the Alpine Lakes wilderness of the Central Cascades. While crowds overwhelming the fragile Alpine zone are a long-standing issue, this year's severe staffing shortage is new. The lack of ranger presence has prompted a crescendo of voices to call for an emergency restriction that limits access before the problems become irreparable harm. Visiting the area last week, 5 weeks into the peak enchantment season, was palpably worse than a similar visit last year. Pit toilets overflow with human waste, garbage mars backcountry trails, and illegal campfires threaten a bone-dry forest. Social media-driven crowds are flocking to Kolchak Lake, many underprepared for the trek, search, and rescue calls, including one for an August 3rd fatal drowning they're taxing county resources. Camping permits issued via an oversubscribed lottery mostly go unchecked. So it's overcrowding going on there because no one's paying attention. Local government and recreation groups in the Wenatchee River Valley directly attribute the deteriorating state of affairs staffing cutbacks at the U.S. Forest Service, which manages the enchantments. Last year, the Forest Service employed 11 wilderness rangers to patrol the enchantments in several thousand acres beyond in the Wenatchee River Ranger District. This year, the district is down to one as a result of the Trump administration staffing cuts that followed a Biden-era hiring freeze on seasonal workers. So, just a double whack by the government, man, stopping from these places from staying wild and beautiful and hiring people to take care of the forest, man. If people are going to go there and visit the place, there needs to be people picking up after these cats, man, because they're not going to do it by themselves. Well, not everyone is going to.
Right.
There are people out there that actually care and will pick up after themselves, but there's a huge group that won't, and it's this. Anyways, man, the enchantment's risk of emergency closure, garbage, human waste, and illegal campfires are mounting with just one federal wilderness ranger responsible for the enchantments this year. Chelan County officials have proposed restricting access to the immensely popular hiking destination by closing a gate on the access road. So now that one ranger is tasked with public safety, toilet maintenance, assisting hikers, and permit compliance contracts, a Forest Service spokesperson wrote via email adding that the Wilderness Ranger works consistently to implement rules and regulations throughout patrols. So volunteers have stepped up to backfill some of the workload, but stressed that they cannot replace a properly staffed Forest Service. Ideas for better managing the enchantments have been kicked around for years, and the agency was poised to act this season, but the staffing cuts threw a wrench in those plans. Since the first Forest Service firings in February, recreation groups have been warning local officials that the summer hiking season could pretend disaster. Now, said Chelan County Commissioner Sean Smith, a Republican. The sky actually is falling. Look at that line of
Look at
cars.
those vehicles, yes.
You know, so Disenchanted Volunteers at 9 a.m. Thursday, the parking lot at Kolchak Lake Trailhead was already full and overflow vehicles stretching a mile long at the edge of the road. And they show a picture of it, and it is at 9 a.m. Thursday, the parking lot, inside the graffiti-strewn vault toilet at the trailhead, a yellow temporary Forest Service sign read, the corner is not a urinal. At the trailhead information kiosk, the last ranger written trail report was dated June 21st. Nasty, man. Ugh. The area's congressional representative, Democrat Kim Schreier, sent a letter on August 1st to Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins and Forest Service team Tom Schultz, demanding the agency hire more staff in the enchantments. Money is sitting on the table, Schreier's letter argued. Over the last year, State Recreation and Conservation Office allocated nearly $750,000 of taxpayer money to the Okanogan-Wenatchee National Forest for wilderness rangers, but the Forest Service has only spent about $50,000. In the rangers' absence, Wenatchee River Valley residents are attempting to pick up the slack. Our ambassadors are no longer supplementing rangers, said the Chamber's Troy Campbell. They kind of are the rangers, or the closest thing to it this summer. On weekends through September 15th, the Leavenworth Chamber of Commerce will deploy recreation ambassadors at Champman's trailheads to count cars, survey hikers, and restock toilet paper. Yay! They will also remind visitors to purchase a $5 Northwest Forest Day Pass and discourage those who look unprepared, for example, planning to hike in flip-flops. The ambassador program is in its 5th year. Chelan County allocated $90,000 of lodging tax funds in March to cover the Mondays and Fridays with paid staff in addition to weekend volunteers. So far this year, ambassadors have picked up 46 bags of trash from the trailheads and roads alone and interacted with 10,000 hikers. Both figures already exceed last year's count. A mile and a half up the trail, Orrin Melvin was pondering what to do with a plastic party platter of cut fruit. He'd already filled one trash bag and dug 6 cat holes to bury human feces, but there are no guidelines what to do on a fruit tray found floating in the Wilderness Creek, he said. Melvin, who serves on the board of Wenatchee River Institute, is one of the new enchantment stewardship volunteers who have fanned out since the July behest of nonprofit advocacy groups in the Wenatchee outdoors. In their first month, volunteers collected 42 pounds of trash, all of it hauled miles by hand out of the enchantments. That Thursday, Melvin inspected one of the enchantment's 31 pit toilets. It wasn't full, which often prompts hikers to relieve themselves in the nearby woods, but there were more than 24 top piles of toilet paper littering the ground, many covering piles of excrement as well as scattered feminine hygiene products. Mary and I have seen this everywhere, man. It's all over the trail, man. Up by Bob Peoples' place. I can't remember. It's up by Hampton or whatever, Hampton, Tennessee. We're rolling. This is just one spot that really just, I remember vividly because it was scattered all up and down there. When you walked out to the road, there was like the shooting range over here, man, and this parking area. And it was like I can't remember what was down there. Was there a shelter down there?
I can't remember now.
But it was a well-used area, man, and there were tampons and toilet paper. And, dude, it's in the Smokies, too, man, where on the no privy side state, I think it's Tennessee, man, there's no privies, so everyone just goes off just over, like, say there's a field right here and there's an embankment, they just go right there and just shit and
You
piss
really got to
and-
watch where you walk.
Yeah, man, it is actually it's nasty, man. And so, that's what happens out here, though, dude. When we go to these sites over here by Hog Pen and stuff, man, if you walk, Unicoi, man, if you walk down in the woods to go to the bathroom, there's fucking shit paper everywhere, pardon my French. There's shit paper everywhere, and, man, it's nasty. Tampons, man, it's just gross. And so, it's happening everywhere, not just here, man. It is happening everywhere. All right, and so Volunteers with Chelan County Mountain Rescue, which has a service agreement with the Forest Service, have dug new pit toilets to alleviate the trail maintenance backlog. In some cases, the lone remaining wilderness ranger has capped and replaced those when able, muscling 200 to 300-pound metal vaults full of urine and feces by herself. And so the toilets need constant attention through fall larch season until the first major snowfall, typically in October and November. Overall, the enchantments accumulate some of 10,000 pounds of human waste annually, according to the former Forest Service employees familiar with the area that must be flown out by helicopter at the end of the hiking season. Trained professionals execute the complex operation. Personnel for the mission is in question this year given the current staffing shortage. It's a slippery slope. Uncollected human waste eventually slows downstream into Icicle Creek, the water supply for Leavenworth.
Wow.
Matt Lyons, Executive Director of TREAD, a nonprofit advocating sustainable outdoor recreation in the Chelan and Douglas counties, estimates that the combined community volunteer effort is performing about half the work that is typically undertaken by federal wilderness rangers. Volunteers have been important in assisting the maintenance and garbage pickup, wrote the Forest Service spokesperson. We are working with local nonprofit organizations to develop a long-term volunteer stewardship program in addition to other management solutions for this season and beyond. It's not sustainable in the long run. Chris Sumrell, president of climbing group Leavenworth Mountain Association, which has contributed volunteers to a stewardship effort, said that locals are applying a patchwork of band-aids to a gushing wound that only sound public funding can mitigate. As volunteers struggle to keep pace, the area is getting more visitors than ever. They're estimating about 2,400 people per day over the July 4th long weekend. On a 9-mile round trip hike to Kolchuk Lake, day hikers are far outnumbered backpackers and climbers, whose heavy packs typically indicate they are more prepared with safety equipment, clothing, layers, food, and water. Among the day hikers was a group of 7 women from Seattle who proudly stated they had packed plastic bags to haul out their poop if necessary. Others hiked with just shopping bag or nothing at all. A quartet from Southern California on their first ever wilderness hike said they had heard about Kolchuk Lake on TikTok. A July 12th post of a hiker diving into the frigid crystal blue water has racked up more than 4.8 million views. At the lake, hikers encountered a team from Chelan County Sheriff's Office who arrived by helicopter. Deputy Mike McLeod described how just days earlier his team had to retrieve a dead man from North Carolina who drowned while swimming in Kolchuk Lake. It's absolutely gorgeous, but totally overrun with people and garbage, he said from a helipad. It's mind-boggling. There's only one person to manage this Disneyland. Sheriff Mike Morrison surveyed the scene as potential emergencies mount the weekend before the drowning. He said a vehicle ruptured its gas tank and spilled fuel at the trailhead. Morrison, a Republican, weighed closing the last gate on the road leading to the Kolchuk Lake trailhead. Such a move, it would add 7 miles round trip road, walking, and eliminate most legal parking options. If Morrison pulls the trigger, he intends for the drastic decision to deter unprepared hikers and clamp down on crowds. And so what they're saying here is, and what I've read in other articles, and we actually did an article on the drowning victim from North Carolina a couple weeks back. But either way, man, what's happening is, what they're saying is there's a lot of Instagram influencers and TikTok influencers, Facebook, YouTube, just influencers, period. They're going out here, they're videoing all the beautiful views, man, but they're not showing the in-between. So you have all these people coming up here in Birkenstocks and sandals and what they were saying, shopping bags full of whatever they're going to eat on their little trip, man. Probably a yogurt and a metal spoon and a couple bottles of soda. Who knows, man? But I know this, that it's definitely people are starting to speak up about this and how it is affecting the hiker community as a whole. And so what they're trying to do now is stop people from going up there and stopping these rescues from happening. We're reading rescues every day, man, and we're doing it to remind people and to show people that there is a dark side to the trail, or a dark side to outdoor activities. And so and we do this because of the influencers that are doing what they're doing, man, because I watch this every day, man. Mary does. We watch this happen, man. And so what did you want to say,
I wanted to say we're going to be doing a piece, not tomorrow or the next day, but I'm looking at some stuff about the use of the word iconic, and how, especially now that there are influencers and there's so much social media, just because something is a iconic trail or an iconic mountaintop or something doesn't mean that everyone should flock to these places. We have different experience levels, and the use of iconic is causing a lot of danger up to death. And
it is, dude.
We want to go over that also, and reasons for going and reasons to just not go until you're well prepared. So I think that's something that's important. Just because somebody says, or the internet says 10 iconic hikes to do before you die, doesn't mean you should be out there doing them. So we want to go over that and just give some information.
Thank you, man. And so I want to add to that, like large groups, hiking groups, we get a lot of calls of hiking. A lot of them don't ever make it together to where because there's always someone in the group that just is not ready for, maybe some other people in the group. So you have experienced people, then you have the not so experienced people, and people that are just, like I say, a lot of people come out here already dehydrated, they're not eating properly, and then they just hop up off their couch, pack a bag, and come out here and start hiking, man, which is awesome, man. But they plan they try to bite off way too much, and then it ends up they end up leaving early, or they enjoy their hike, they learn, but they realize that what they see on the internet, man, and what is really going on out here are just two different things, man. Right. And so I tell people, man, I'm just like, don't listen to people on the internet. I mean, listen to them, but take it with a grain of salt. Apply it to what you are. Make a list. And then, as you come out here and learn, you start to check off this list and say, well, that doesn't work for me, or that's never going to work for me, or it does work for me.
That's right.
But you need to just come out here and first just give it a try, and you got to learn. You can't learn from someone else. You have to do it yourself and experience it. So anyways, we'll do more on that. We really, Mary and I, the reason that we do a lot of this is to keep people aware of what's going on. It's not to be a downer or anything, man. It's just like we want to be the other side of the tracks and say, hey, man, it's not all daisies and roses and butterflies out here, man. There is work involved in what you're doing, and you have to apply yourself mentally and physically. I mean, it's hard, man. So reading online, man, is never going to show you what it takes out here to achieve your goals, or get those miles under your belt. All right, and so there's not much more here. There's a lot of gibberish going on, man. Not gibberish, but it's a lot of almost repeating itself, man. We've got the idea. There's underfunding going on, and we need to do our best, man, to try to help these cats out there by following L&T, man, and maybe volunteering your time, man, to come out and just help with the trail maintenance. I had some numbers, man. I made a few phone calls to some of these cats. They're really hard to get a hold of. I left some messages and never had any return. And so I tried, man, for the volunteer up in North Carolina, man, and just no one returned our calls, man. So if you do run into that problem, man, just go out there and do it yourself, man. Don't do any like hardcore trail maintenance, like getting out there and digging stuff up and putting in stairways. But you can go to a trailhead, man, and walk down the trail and pick up trash. You know what I mean, man? They don't want you running saws in certain states. You need to have like training and certificates and blah, 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 blah. They don't want you doing that, man. But you can definitely get out there with a trash bag and pick trash up if you see it. That's not, you know what I mean, man? No one's telling you not to do that. So
The, one of the riders we have out here right now, has been, going along the trail, making their way up the trail. And they were telling me how, let's see, it was Preacher's Rock and Blood Mountain this past weekend while they were at both places. The abundance of people and the abundance of trash.
yeah,
And they did gently remind several people that leaving your potato chip canister there is not what we do.
right.
And they did retrieve it. But, that we each have to take out what we bring in, and that way it can be cleaner. There's not just one person that's designated out here to pick up after anyone.
Right,
We are
yeah.
responsible for taking out what we bring in.
Yeah, man, that's unfortunate, dude. I hate hearing that stuff,
I do
man.
too.
And it's not just day hikers or weekend warriors, it's everyone doing
That's
it.
right.
And so, I mean, yeah, the tourists are doing it a little bit more because they don't know any better. They're getting online and watching these cats just get to the top of the mountain and take their pictures. Maybe a few flashes in between of them hiking up the mountain and talking about how beautiful it is, but they never show like them breathing hard and dying on the way up or something, man. But the thing is, man, is another thing they're not doing is talking about L&T and how to keep the forest clean and explaining, what L&T is. So a lot of these people are coming out here thinking that there's someone going to just come up and clean up behind them like they do at Central Park or something, man. I call the Chattahoochee Forest down here, man, Atlanta's Central Park anyways. So. Anyways, man, it is definitely necessary for us to follow L&T and do our best to try and assist everyone, everyone, the whole community, all the communities as a whole, man. Let's just do our best to follow L&T, guys.
That's right.
All right, and so we are working on the
Vehicle storage.
the vehicle at the trailheads. Today we got a few shuttles and we'll be working on that, and then some other things that need to be done, man. Anyways, did you have anything else you'd like to say?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Sweet, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we're gonna end it here. I hope everyone has a beautiful day. One love, kids. Peace. Thank you.